Commissioners, I've got a national diploma in police administration that I obtained in 1996, and then I've got a BTEC in policing that I obtained in 2008, and then I registered for masters, and I abandoned the studies in between the storm that I went through, and then I could not really handle different issues all at the same time. I ended up not proceeding with it. Now, this past year, my record is there. I do have a matric that I completed in 1986.
Sorry, General, just to clarify, you have a master's in criminal justice?
No, I said I don't have a master's in criminal. I said current
studies. It's just listed under academic qualifications. So
I said current studies.
Okay.
I don't say I have. I say I current studies is what I registered for, and the record is there as well.
No, that's fine. I'm just clarifying because on the CV it says academic qualifications, masters in criminal justice.
No, I think that's why we supplement.
That's fine. You've clarified. Thank you.
And then when you look at tertiary education, we say National Diploma Police Administration, a technical SA, and BTEC in policing as you go down. Now, the courses that I have, I've got a riot and crowd control course, which all the police officials, mainly that went to college, have to undergo. But of importance is the investigation course. That all the people that are accusing me, all of them, and that are investigating me, they don't have investigation course. All of them. Anybody who's been here to talk about me, they don't have this course. They've never been trained as detectives, and they are not detectives. That there was a march that was planned in KZN by MK Party. And MK Party, they were saying the march is about the fight in general, the fight against crime in general, and also crime against women, GB violence, and then also in support of General Mkhwanazi. Then the National Commissioner, General Masemola, calls me and he sends me to KZ and he says to me, I want you to go and receive the memorandum there. He calls me to his office. I said, okay, I will go, because he's a National Commissioner and I'm a Deputy National Commissioner. I can't say no. He relies on us. I said, I will go. But he knew and understand the relationship that I have with General Mkhwanazi, that the relationship is not well at all. But he sends me there to KZN to go and receive the memorandum. So now, I then said, okay, let me organize protection for myself. I asked for 4 members of Special Task Force and NIU, and I said I will live here with them to the airport. I was expected to be on stage at 10 o'clock. I will leave with there in the morning. I'm not going to sleep there. I'll leave here in the morning. And then when we get there, we'll be waiting somewhere at the hotel. And then from there, just 1 minute to 10, I will be on stage. And then I'll receive the memorandum, and then I'll just tell them that the memorandum is well received and that I will pass it to the seniors. Thank you very much, and leave. Then the spokesperson came and said, National Commissioner, but why this drama? Why do you send General Sibiya there when you know that General Sibiya's relationship with General Mkhwanazi is not so well? And then because now you're creating an unnecessary drama, and the National Commissioner listened to the spokesperson. He then said, no, it's okay, you don't have to go. Then the march was cancelled.
Do you have facts or evidence in support of what you're saying, or are you speculating that General Mkhwanazi may have something to do with it? And I haven't heard you answer that direct question.
It's just that, Chair, I know I'm not speculating. It is the case. But the simple question is, do you have the account name? Do you have the account number? Do you know this? I won't have it. I don't have it. But why I'm saying that, I have been given names to say this person who's responsible for General Mkhwanazi's social media are the following or is this one. I have that name, but up until I also have evidence or proof, I cannot sit here and say, here is this name, but I do have it.
I think the point lies in the last thing that you say, that you don't yet, at least, I'm happy to put in the word yet, you don't yet have proof of what you have been told by somebody, that there is this person who's in charge of that account. You don't have proof, and I think you've just said that right at the end.
Let me accept that point.
Okay, thank you. You were not surprised when the minister issued the letter on the 31st of December. Is that what you're conveying here? Because you were in this meeting, you were part of this discussion. You're surprised that you don't agree, or you're skeptical that the National Commissioner says he was surprised by the decision of the minister of the 31st of December. Is your position that you were not surprised?
I was not surprised, and I don't agree with the National Commissioner.
You were surprised that he was surprised.
I don't want to be technically wrong, maybe, and be confused, Chair. But what I want to say is that...
so you maybe let me ask more directly. You expected that the minister in December will disband the PKTT?
I didn't expect that he will disband in December, or it will happen. What I knew, it was a subject of discussion.
Yes. So you say it was a discussion that the PKTT will be disbanded, and you say this meeting of November discussed that, the disbandment of the PKTT. It formed part of those discussions, that meeting of the 1st of November. Okay. It was those consultative meetings. But you didn't expect that, you were not expecting that it would be disbanded on the 31st of December?
Nobody knew that it
I'm asking about you, General.
My apology, Chair. My apology. Sometimes
no, it's okay. It's all right. I'm asking about you in particular.
I was not surprised when it happened.
On the 31st of December?
No.
Okay. Yes, you may proceed.
99. It is noteworthy to add further that neither the National Commissioner nor General Mkhwanazi raised any objection to the disbandment of the PKTT at the portfolio meeting, nor the proposed method of disbandment. Against this backdrop, it is concerning that the National Commissioner now seeks to distance himself from the developments relating to the disbandment of the PKTT and withdrawal of the case dockets. On 5 June 2025, the National Commissioner, before I proceed to this, I want to talk to the presentation that was made in Parliament. General Khumalo presented about the fact that the minister has given a direction as to the disbandment of the PKTT, and he says there has been various meetings held in this regard, and that the PKTT has achieved the purpose for which they were established. 9 districts out of 10 have stabilized. Only one, eThekwini district, is the one that is still giving a headache. But all other 9, and he presented a map that shows green all the way, only one was red. And he said the PKTT can be used as a benchmark. And the docket will be taken now to the murder and robbery unit for further investigation. Now, this is something that we all were working on and agreed on, that no, now they must go to murder and robbery unit because this is where they belong. This is the mandate of the murder and robbery unit. So now the docket, he said, will be taken there, and he did mention that in a phased-in approach. And then the very next day, they came with I just think I must first read this until the end so that I don't run and then only to find that I leave important facts behind.
So as you explain that and you go through your statement, just clarify for me how General Sintumule becomes involved. We've got her version, but maybe from how you remember it, you can just clarify for us.
As I indicated earlier, Commissioners, I have 2 divisional commissioners. I don't deal with the ground. Now, the two divisional commissioners, Divisional Commissioner CI, Crime Intelligence, who is also doing the political killing testing, must hand over to General Sintumule, under whose mandate the murder and robbery unit fall. So this one must hand over to this one.
Was that your instruction, that this one must hand over the dockets to the other one?
That's correct.
Yes,
Maybe-
because the reason I'm asking is I had understood you earlier to be saying you gave no instruction and you had nothing to do with the handover of the dockets. That's why I was a bit confused. So I needed that clarity so that I understand. How did General Sentumule get to decide that she must get dockets from General Kumalo? So you're saying you are the one who instructed General Kumalo to hand over the dockets to General Sentumule?
Yes. That's the first point. The second point is that based on their action plan themselves, they said this is what we are going to do. Themselves, they came up with an action plan. This is the action plan they came up with and said this is what we are going to do. But it was inevitable anyway because General Situmula, it is her role, it is her department. So my instruction was just to say, give from this one to this one. So this is how she got involved. But what I never gave, the instruction that I never gave was to say, go get the dockets from KZ and bring them to head office. That never happened. It is demonstrably and plainly false to suggest that the failure to effect this arrest or the alleged inability of the PKTT to act was because the dockets were sitting at head office under my control. By the time any question arose about the dockets being at head office, the investigation had long since reached a recorded conclusion and the arrest could and should already have been effected. It is disingenuous and deeply troubling that General Mkhwanazi now seeks to shift responsibility for this long outstanding arrest onto me. The fact remains that the PKTT failed to act in 2022 and 2023, despite arrest instructions and fully investigated matters. They just never acted on them. Additionally, this report makes plain that the overwhelming majority of dockets within the remit of the PKTT were long stagnant. Only 18% of the dockets reflect a last day of investigation in 2025. A further 21% recorded a last day of investigation in 2024, and 22% recorded a last day of investigation as far back as 2023. Beyond this, a not significant number of dockets show even earlier last days of investigation dates, some dating to 2017, 2018, even 2019. This is the last date when they had a look at these dockets themselves. I'm indicating the fact that there's a notion that says that the PKTT is the most effective, hardworking, prolific team that is operating. But under the circumstances where I'm sitting with so many dockets that were last seen in 2018, 2017, 2020, I can't say they were effective at all.
You say even in respect of past dockets that were not part of the 118.
Yes.
And you say in respect of past dockets, you say that because as I understand from this report, and again, it's just trying to clarify your position, that this report speaks to what was availed in compliance with your instruction to General Sintumule, which is 118 dockets. And then you've gone through ones that were last investigated some years back over a period, and you comment that that is evidence that the PKTT, that it's a lie that the PKTT was effective. And I'm trying to understand that from these 118 dockets, you make the statement that in its life, therefore, the PKTT was never effective. I'm just trying to understand whether you confine yourself to the 118, or you're saying since it was formed in 2018, it was never effective.
Well, I'm going to speak as an experienced investigating officer now from my corner, not in connection with the PKTT alone. I'm saying, even though the PKTT provided documents and they can put their dockets here and they say these are our successes, I have a document that I've prepared that along the way we are going to discuss about it, where I say I've got so many cases that are between 1 year and 5 years. I want to know, why do we still have a docket as long as between 1 year and 5 years? Why do I have a docket that is between, how many dockets in the country per province? That says I've got so many dockets that are between let's say 5 years and 10 years. Why do we have so many dockets? The reason why I'm taking this route, commissioners, I want to say, the fact that they say to you, remember they prepared the report, that is, these are our successes. But you may find that the success they spoke about, a docket that was supposed to have been completed in 2 years was completed in 5 years. It does not necessarily mean that they are effective still, even though it was a success. I found myself facing disciplinary hearing, facing criminal investigation, facing ad hoc commission, facing the Madlanga Commission. All of these people, every day, I'm going to that lawyer to meet this one for labor, I'm going to that one to meet this one for this one. Every day someone is talking about you, you've got to listen to this one. This one was talking about you, you've got to listen to you. I call the lawyer and say, please listen to so-and-so talking to me. They say, we can't sit and listen, we've got to wait for the commission to send us the statement. Now, this side issue of the city of Joburg, it's matters that were investigated, re-investigated, double investigated again by other role players, public protectors, the Hawks, Lord, with the same person complaining, refusing to accept the results. Now, to me, I'm sitting here wasting my time on having to respond to the issues of City of Joburg, where they were ventilated and they were investigated properly. Even the Hawks investigated and the DPP declined to prosecute. The public protector cleared me. There's been many legal. So I just want to say, if the chairperson is saying, look, we are comfortable, I will walk through and leave it. But this is a thing that I was prepared to address once and for all, because there's no grabber, there's no spying equipment. These are the allegations. There's no corruption that I was ever involved in the city of Joburg. To me, it's a complete waste of time to deal with the city of Joburg at this point in time. Conversation extracted from Vusimusikat Matlala's phone pertaining to my name. General Mkhwanazi has further sought to rely on alleged WhatsApp messages said to have been extracted from a cellular telephone reportedly removed from one Vusimusikat Matlala, which messages are alleged to contain references to me. I place on record that I was not a participant in those conversations, as it is evident from the material relied upon. My name is merely mentioned. I did not form part of the messaging group or the exchanges themselves. The conversations in question are said to be between one Brown Mokgotsi and Matlala, in which my name is purportedly referenced. I have no knowledge or involvement in those exchanges and no information as to how these alleged messages were extracted, preserved, or presented to the Commission. It is entirely unclear how these messages were obtained, what methodology was employed in their extraction, and whether their integrity and authenticity have been preserved. Accordingly, I am unable to confirm the authenticity, accuracy, or context of these purported WhatsApp communications and cannot speak to their legitimacy, completeness, or reliability. Any attempt to rely on these alleged messages as evidence against me is therefore misleading and unfair, as it attributes to me statements and discussions in which I played into part
No part, yes.
whatsoever. I consulted with the National Commissioner on the issue upon his return to the office. His response was that Public Works was not going to tell SAPS how to utilize the building. The National Commissioner asserted that Matlala was not going to be allowed into the building. The tender nevertheless continued until May 2025. At this juncture, my involvement was limited to providing feedback to Matlala on my interaction with the National Commissioner pertaining to his complaint, which I duly did. Paragraph 165, I reiterate that I had no prior knowledge of nor a relationship with Matlala before the meeting held at my office. The suggestion that I am a close friend of Matlala is untenable, given that I only met him for the first time in January 2024.
General, can I just understand that last part where you say the suggestion that I'm a close friend is untenable, given that I only met him for the first time in January 2024? Does this mean, and maybe let me ask my question, beyond January 2024, did a friendship develop or not?
We didn't develop a friendship, but we have interacted. And not to a level or to a point where I could say we were now friends. But because of the fact that at that point in time, he was really not under investigation nor under scrutiny, like the minister, former Minister Bekele said at the ad hoc, the eyes then that looked at Matlala are not the eyes that look at him now. At that point in time, there was nothing, but it doesn't mean that he became my friends. We were never friends.
You were never friends?
No. Of Jeribu Shoha. The National Commissioner alleged that concerns were raised with him regarding my purported relationship with Matlala, as well as apprehensions regarding my continued oversight of the investigation into the kidnapping of Jeribu Shoha. Notwithstanding these allegations, these alleged concerns, the National Commissioner did not at any stage remove me from the investigation. To the contrary, I continued to lead and perform investigative functions in respect of the kidnapping of Jeribu Shoha matter up to date, on which I was instructed to stay at home. I further wish to place on record that my involvement in the investigation of this matter came about as a result of a family member of Jeribu Shoha approaching me directly. The said family member expressed concern that the team then assigned to investigate the kidnapping was not affording the matter sufficient attention. In that context, the family member requested that I specifically become involved in the investigation, and the matter was entrusted to me on that basis. Completely happy. And may I also indicate that there's no any other person, senior, who's been involved in this matter than I have been, who pushed for this investigation more than I have done. And I'll tell you why. We have had, together with the minister, a meeting with the DPCI investigators. Now, this is a team that is able to trace a person without only looking at the phone and the SIM card, but whether you are on Wi-Fi or whatever. I expressed my dissatisfaction about this matter and invited their support. At the police summit, I was one of the speakers. I raised that, and I said at the police summit, I said, as a country, it is very worrying that a matter like this we are not able to resolve, where a person has been kidnapped for so long and we are unable to trace. We've got technology and we've got everything. At some point, the minister called the service providers to his office at his residential. With all the service providers for the communication, different. I raised the matter and say, everybody uses communication. Why are we not able to put all the resources that we want, that we have to trace this person? I went out of my way to make sure that this person gets traced. Now, my request is that the team that is investigating, Chair, if one of them could just come and say, this is what we've been doing, look at the docket before we got it, and what investigations we ran up until the docket, up until we were called. This thing that the National Commissioner received a complaint that I'm a friend to Matlala, I don't know where it comes from.